signed up a distributor in any network marketing company in 10 years, 11 companies. I joined my 12th network marketing company, and I finally figured out how to sponsor a rep. And then I sponsored another one, and I sponsored another one. My 16th distributor was Jackie Ulmer, who's sitting up here in the front row with that company. And some of you read the story. It's in Beach Money. Well, there was a point in my first year where the top 10 money, or the company had 30,000 distributors. The top 10 money earner was making $6,200 a month. And they were doing about $30 million a year in sales. And top 10, number 10, I have the newsletter, number 10 was making $6,200 a month. That was Randy and Melissa Davis. And I was really frustrated because after a year, they were making $6,200 a month and I was making $180 a month. A little less. It was actually a little less than a year. $180 a month. And I was working just as hard as they were. And I still had my job. And at that time, the number one earner in the company, it was around the time he was getting, I don't know if he was still number one, but he was up there, Jay Smith. Jay and Meg came to town. And I was working my business, and I'd have guests at the meetings, and nobody was doing anything. I had a group of probably at that point, I don't know, 40 to 80 people, 60 people, something like that. Really frustrated. And Jay said to me, we were having ice cream on Scottsdale Roads in Arizona. He said, Jordan, the reason Arizona's not growing is because there's no leadership here. And my heart just sunk. I remember feeling that feeling. I remember it like it was yesterday. My heart sunk because I was the leader, right? I was the guy taking charge and making this thing happen, and my checks were $180 a month, and I was like pretty bummed out because the top guy, or one of the very top guys in the company, had just told me there's no leadership, and I was the leader. But I started to observe, I didn't get what he said for many, many years. I really didn't. It was like literally 15 years later when it dawned on me, it really hit me, that the only place a business grows is where leadership is. Now I'm going to talk about what that is here as I do this talk. When a leader emerges, and you can be that leader, it's just somebody that says, it's not the company that says, we're going to put a leader, it's you saying, I'm a leader. And I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to be resourceful. I'm not going to blame the company. I'm not going to blame my upline. I'm not going to blame anything. I'm going to take responsibility, and I'm going to be the leader. And in every case, every city that's ever grown in the history of network marketing, it's because of a leader in that city. And you know who they are. You'll know who they are. You'll know the Packard boys in Arizona. You'll know Vonda Downs in Colorado. You'll know who they are. You'll know Jackie Ulmer up in Lake Arrowhead. You'll know who they are. They make themselves known. So, that's where it happens. No leadership in Arizona. And guess when Arizona started to really grow? When I became a leader. And becoming a leader is not a result. It's not like you have the team, then you're a leader. It's kind of a combination of both. You become a leader as your team grows, and at the same time, your team grows when you become a leader. You with me? Mm-hmm. All right. So, some of you are going to be looking for the how-tos in my talk, and I'm not going to give you the how-tos because, you know what, as a leader, you'll know the how-tos. Because you step into your role, and the how-tos, you'll figure them out because of who you are. Do you know a billionaire? No one taught a billionaire how to become a billionaire. People that build large companies, there's no manual that Cody Bateman can read to learn how to build a $1 billion greeting card and gifting business. You know why? No one's ever done it. There's no manual he can read. Because he's an entrepreneur, he has to be resourceful and creative and get the best minds together to figure it out. Trial and error. But that's how you are as an entrepreneur. That's how I am as an entrepreneur. Everybody has a first time. I've never flown a helicopter, but I know other people have done it. I'm working on doing it. It'll be my first time. It's my first time hovering. It's my first time flying it. It's my first time landing and taking off. It's my first time doing my solo flight. There's a first time for you too. I had a first time in network marketing. Everybody has it. So, everybody gets there. Okay, the most important skill. A, the most important skill. I had a boss at America West Airlines. He had 600 employees that worked for him. He taught me one of the most valuable lessons I've ever learned as a leader in business. And you know what? It's interesting. It's almost like you'll remember. Where's Dave? Where's Dave Love? Dave Love? Are you? Oh, there you are, Dave. You might remember. Did you work for Jack? Yeah. You worked for Jack. So Jack taught me something. Jack Birnbaum. And it's interesting because in corporate America, this philosophy is unusual. In corporate America, if you replace yourself in corporate America, there's a fear that you won't be needed, right? In fact, people tend to want to protect their domain. But Jack told me something. He said, if the sooner you replace yourself as a trainer, the more valuable you'll become. This was before I was even doing network marketing successfully. Years later, I realized that is the most valuable skill that you can get in our business, is replace yourself. What does that mean? That means training people. It means it means lifting them up. It means doing it with them until they get it. The ones that are willing to work with you. Now, the people that you call that don't call you back, or the people that say they're going to do it but they don't show up, those aren't the ones. It's finding the few that really want to do this and looking for the opportunity to completely replace yourself. And the more you replace yourself, the faster you replace yourself, the bigger your organization's going to get. So anytime I do something, I remember one year I made a conscious decision that whenever I do a presentation, I'm going to do my best to have somebody with me, even if they're not connected to that presentation. Because by me doing that, I'm leveraging my time. They're learning from me. Wherever you are, whether you're brand new in the business, you're just getting started, Jasmine and Ben are just getting started in the business, you know more than the people you brought in. You know more than the people you bring in. So there's something that you can replace yourselves through them. Even though you're brand new in the business. Doesn't matter whether if you're in the business for a week, you know more than the people you're bringing in. Right? You've gone through the manual, you've signed up a couple of customers, you know the different, so you begin to replace yourself early on. Valuable skill. B, handling setbacks. So I am very aware today, and I collected these tools along the way that have been really valuable to me. Some of them have been through books that I've read, like a book called Skill with People by Les Giblin or something like that. Tony Robbins events, getting around other leaders and observing how they interact with people. And I learned some things about leadership and the way people handle setbacks and struggles. I've also learned that there's not a single successful, this is very important, there's not a single successful leader in any business that hasn't experienced seemingly insurmountable obstacles. You know, Jimmy talked about the guy with no arms that learned to play guitar. Insurmountable obstacles. So whatever it is for you, wherever you are, doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means you have to overcome the obstacles. I'm like so immersed in this process right now with the helicopter thing, you have no idea. It's the hardest thing I've ever learned to do. And I just keep going back and sitting in that seat and putting my seatbelt on and putting my headphones on, sitting next to my instructor, and I take myself up, you know, we're flying around, he tells me to do something. I'm like, really? He says, yeah, do it. Land on that pinnacle over there. Like it's a little 4-foot pinnacle I don't land the helicopter on. Okay, here we go. You know? But I mean, he challenges me every day, and there's certain things that I think at that moment, like after trying it 4, 5, 6, 8 times, I'm never going to get this. For me, it may be an seemingly insurmountable obstacle, but as long as I keep going back. You know, people go and, well, we don't think anything of dropping $50,000 to $100,000 and taking out loans to get a college degree. And think about what we go through. Those of you that have college degrees, think about what you went through to get that degree. All the work and the study in the middle of the night and the no-dos and the energy drinks and all the stuff to get your degrees. And for what? For no guarantee of anything but a piece of paper called a diploma. And then we go to 3 trainings and we talk to a few people and we go, this isn't going to work for me. I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? Insurmountable. So here's what I adopted that's helped me. There's 3 in the book and I'm going to give you 3 others. And I use these every single day in all areas of my life. Personal and business, all areas of my life. Number 1, reframe. It's in there. What that means is to reframe the situation and look at it differently. View it differently. Like you guys have heard the story about the guy that goes to the country to sell shoes, right? I don't know the whole story, but this guy goes to another country to sell shoes, and He gets there and nobody has shoes, and he says, well, nobody has shoes here. I guess there's no market for shoes. Right? People don't buy shoes here. Obviously, I'm going somewhere else. Do you guys get what I'm talking about? It's reframing the situation. So I've worked in this business for 4 years, and I've only got a $50 residual check. Well, you probably learned a few things over the past 4 years. Might mean you might need to make a few adjustments along the way, and right? So there's different ways of looking at it. Reframe. Number 2, don't let crisis turn into ruin. That's just something you say. My good friend Kevin Pine taught me that. Don't let crisis turn into ruin. Can anybody tell me what that means? Don't let crisis turn into ruin? Raise your hand if you can tell me what that means. What does that mean? Chris?
You learn from your mistakes.
That's partially it, but what else?
Don't let it destroy you.
Just because you're having a crisis doesn't mean it's the end. Yeah. Don't let crisis turn into ruin. Eddie?
Stay out of overwhelm.
Stay out of overwhelm. Well, you're going to get there. No matter, you can try and stay out of it, but you're going to have it. I had it last week. Yes, Jerry.
Don't let a short-term setback turn into a long-term one.
Yeah, a short-term setback. It may be big at the moment, but 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now, or a year from now, it's going to be a non-issue. Yes.
Don't quit on a bad day.
That's the next one. Don't quit on a bad day. Don't quit on a bad day. Number 4, let go. Cody taught this in the Freedom Rights for years. Allow, let go, and allow. There's certain things that you just hold on to really tight. They really don't make a difference in terms of your long-term career, but we turn them into big things. Like, I've had people that have quit because a card ended up in the wrong envelope. And they quit the business. That bloody crisis turned into ruin. And then 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later, or a week later, everything's fine, or it might have been an isolated incident, even if it wasn't an isolated incident. 2 weeks later, everything's fine. And they just threw away a possibly really lucrative career because of a crisis. Does that make sense? All right. Etch-a-sketch strategy. What's an etch-a-sketch strategy? Etch-a-sketch. What do you do with an etch-a-sketch when you're done writing on it? You turn it upside down, and you shake it, and you start with a clean slate. You get it? I don't need to explain that. Again, I want to refresh your memory. All of you will experience seemingly insurmountable obstacles with your send-out cards business. You have to just decide if you're going to let crisis turn into ruin, whether you're going to start with a clean slate, whether you're going to reframe the situation, whether you're going to not quit on a bad day. And number 6, what do I need to learn? So I'll tell you where I'm going to be real forthright and straight up with you right now. I've been doing this business for a while, and I'm making a lot of money. I'm making good money. But when I joined Send-Out Cards, I didn't get into Send-Out Cards to make this kind of money. I got into Send-Out Cards to make a lot more money. And I feel like I'm hitting my head on the ceiling. The only way that I'll ever get to the next level is if I help some of you get to my level. If I find those of you that are ready, that are hungry enough to do the work and deal with the obstacles and the challenges, if I can find a few of you that want to do it and encourage you along the way, I can't do it for you. I have to find the people, the few, the very, very few. I would like to say it's going to be everybody, but it's only a few that are hungry enough to get to the level that I'm at and do what it requires. That's going to take me to the next level. All right?